You're watching the 2024 SCAC Track and Field Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the University of Dallas Track and Field program. We welcome on head coach Nick Schneigert, along with junior Melissa Gambino Benitez. And Coach Melissa, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Russell. Appreciate it.
Coach, we'll open things up with you. We're in the middle of opening week for the UD track and field programs as you get set to prepare to open up the season this weekend. Just your thoughts on the excitement of what is a new season, what this group has really been working on and getting prepared for as they get ready to start opening weekend, and just maybe some things that you've seen that kind of give you confidence going into the start of the year.
Well, for my distance athletes, one of the coolest things, one of the accomplishments we've had since me coming here is having my cross country kids doing track. And I've always been a big vocal person about that. Prior colleges I've been to, it was like mandatory for cross country kids to do track. And here it's not so. And, when I first came here, I had maybe one or two distance kids that did track out of the 13 cross country kids that was, here my first year. And a lot of it had to do with the academics, the really strict classical education core curriculum we have here. And so eventually I alleviated the academic stress with them. And I think one of our major accomplishments is just retention and trying to get those cross country kids to do track. So I think that's one big accomplishment, and two of my seniors, James Latour and Nico Waltz, they've done all 4 years of cross country and track with me, and they still maintain a whopping 4.0 GPA in a very rigorous, time consuming school like the University of Dallas. And I think that's really neat, and we also got Teresa Cation. She's going to be my long sprinter. She was a 400 person in high school, and I get it, so, I really want to make her happy and stuff. So she'll do the 400 and the 800, and she'll be working with my volunteer assistant coach. And then obviously we got Melissa here, and she's done cross country for me. I think this is her second year doing it with me. And I was able to convince her to do track with me this year. So, things like that. I mean, those, and then Brenda's Chicas did cross country with me this past fall, and now she's doing track. So, the percentage of cross country kids doing track, that's always been my main goal coming here. I'm trying to hold on. I know the academics is hard. I know you got all that Dante you got to read, but they're doing it, man, and as for my sprinters, my volunteer assistant coach has been doing a good job with the few sprinters that we have. But yeah, it's been good. It's been really good. The unfortunate fact is I did lose a couple throwers this year. And again, it really comes down to the academics and just, they're taking 18 hours and, just trying to find jobs out there. And I get it. I absolutely understand. So, but yeah, the biggest accomplishments I had was just trying to get that retention, trying to build it. And, and then getting off the point here a little bit, just recruiting. And, we've been recruiting heavily, and hopefully next year we got a pretty good recruiting class coming in. So we had 3 this past Friday coming on here, distance kids. And yeah, we'll take things one step at a time. So, so far, so good.
Melissa, Coach mentioned, making that jump or transition and coming in from that cross-country season into your first year of collegiate track. I'm just interested for you, what are you most excited about heading into your first college track season? And what are some things that you're really looking forward to as you get ready to open up the year here this weekend?
Yes, I'm really excited to, grow throughout this whole track and field experience. I want to improve on my pace, and I'm looking forward to having fun and enjoying running on the track and field. So I'm excited for this.
Coach, one of the things that I always admire with track and field coaches is obviously, it is a team sport, but it requires a bunch of individual talents and skills kind of coming together, and they're all so unique and quite different. And so as a coach, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in kind of attacking that? And what are some things that you do to sort of help combat and alleviate some of those challenges throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and I think you already know, Russell, in a conference, we have a lot of programs, and this is coming nationwide. You have a head cross country coach and a head track and field coach, and more schools are going toward that direction. And so for me, I'm easily working 16-hour days, easily. Tuesdays and Thursdays, long hours recruiting and stuff. Even on weekends, long traveling. Fortunately, I was able to find some dedicated volunteer coaches. So having them on board, working with my sprinters, has been a big plus. And I really just focus on my distance kids as of now. So there are a lot of challenges here, no doubt. Lots of challenges here, just because the great academics we have here, no doubt. I mean, it's fantastic. But hopefully, we have a great leadership here. And obviously, I want to retire here from the University of Dallas, be here another 15, 20 years. I got 2 awesome, beautiful kids, that go to schools nearby. And, I want to see this program grow within the next 15 years. And our leadership, starting from Dr. Sanford, all the way down to Coach Samples, they want to see our program grow, and they know. And they know. I know there's a big disparity in track and field in our conference, but a lot of it has to do with obviously just the great academics we have here, and we've been really paving ways here tremendously. And we're going to see how everything goes on in the future here. But yeah, so far so good. Obviously I have to separate my groups. My sprinters are at a different location. My distant kids are here. I have, because of the academics, I have to have 2 workouts a day with them. So they can't come to 6 a.m. workouts. They have a choice of going to 5 p.m. workouts, like Melissa, she was up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and just, studying. It's hard for her to come to 6 a.m. workouts. And now she's coming to 5 p.m. workouts, and that was one of the major changes of why we have a higher percentage of cross country kids to a track.
Melissa, you talked a little bit about some of the things that you're looking forward to this year. I'm interested kind of in maybe a little bit of an adjustment or a transition process that goes from you, maybe especially with the mindset, obviously coming from cross country, where certainly time is important, but each race is different, each course is different. The consistency and isn't the same that track is, where times, every lap that you come around, we're getting yelled times, you're looking at certain numbers, which is a little bit different, obviously, than kind of that cross country mindset. For you, what are you looking forward to and kind of making that adjustment? And what do you think is going to be key in order for you to become, comfortable and just adjusted to that heading into this first track season for you?
I would say I guess with with cross country, it is running for long distances, but for sprint, I'm focusing on seeing those changes and where I get to sprint more faster. I get to work on my breathing exercises, relax, you got this, continue sprinting, don't give up. That's the type of mindset that I'm pursuing for this track and field. And I feel like with the practices, I feel like I've been seeing some changes, and with my times, yeah.
Yeah, one thing with Melissa, she will be focusing on 800 and possibly 1,500 meters this year.
Coach, as the track season kind of unfolds and plays out, obviously you want your runners and athletes to be running as best as they can at the start of the season, but also I think understanding the kind of the unique thing about track is you're allowed to have kind of that growth and that incline throughout the course of the season to get prepared for that championship run at the end. So, even if everyone's not PRing here this weekend, there is that room for growth, and you can, obviously see that and attain that. So as a coach, how do you kind of handle that flow, kind of the progression of the season? And, what is it in your mind that's key to making sure runners are prepared to be at their best come championship time of the year?
Yeah, I know on the distance side, what we're really focusing on is, this is our first week of practice. Last week was the first week of practice. And we're just really focusing on aerobic workout, and then we're going to be focusing a little bit more on anaerobic capacity a little bit later on the season. And it's just pretty much what we've always been doing. Times are never going to be a big concern the first several weeks of the outdoor track season. I know other schools in our conference it's now starting to have indoor seasons and stuff like that. But for us here, they just during the winter, we had a winter distance contest, and that's where they really focused on, on their base, and they love the contest a lot, that way, if they win the contest, you get a little reward from me. And they love it, and so fortunately for us, we've been able to do that. We're just pretty much, a couple of weeks before the season, we'll take a weekend off, the week before. We might actually have one more meet, but like my 5K, 10Kers, we're just going to put them in the 1500 meters, 800 meters. And then, my sprinters, we'll see, we'll experiment with them a little bit. So we'll just take things one step at a time and go with the flow. And we already have a training schedule set up for all of our athletes. So especially there's a lot of trust with my volunteer assistant coaches. They're doing a phenomenal job with my sprinters.
And Melissa, finally, as we wrap things up with you, as you look ahead to this season and embark on your first year at the collegiate level for track and field, just sort of your thoughts on maybe some of the goals and expectations you have, and ultimately what's going to be key in order for you to try and accomplishing those heading into the year.
Yes, some of the goals that I have for this upcoming is I want to be able to have fun, enjoy running, continue. I do want to have like a separate goal for each meet. Like I want to improve on my time, to improve on my speed. So those are some of my goals for this upcoming.
And finally, Coach, obviously success can be measured in our world in so many different ways, from results to things within the team and the culture. And for you, when you talk about success with your two teams, kind of what are those conversations? What do those look like? What for you, how do you try to define success with these programs? And ultimately 2024 will look successful if what plays out for these two groups heading into the year?
I got a couple things. Number one, and before I came here, there's always been like an issue with a lot of the kids trying to stay on a team, for both cross country and track. And the one thing I think Melissa could attest to this, I've been a hawk on them when it comes to school, a hawk. And, and I know we're hard. And so I want them to focus on the academics, do some changes, and understand that academics is first, but I also want them to understand that cross country and track is second. And if they have problems with the academics, with the classical education curriculum, we have a great academic success program here. We have a great tutoring services here, and they've been doing a phenomenal job. If you remember Tommy took an academic success. He was from the cross country SCAC Media Day thing. And he loved academic success when he took it with them and stuff like that. So we had a few from my athletes. I think now I know the ins and outs. Now that I've always tried to persuade my athletes go undecided that first semester so they could transition into the academic, to the hard academics we have here. And just build that culture, man. I mean, I think bringing those, having a good volunteer, finally have a good volunteer sprint coaching staff has been, Cindy Daniels has been amazing. Kennedy Holton has been amazing with me, and then obviously getting the retention high for my distance kids going to track. I mean, we're still going to be small. We're not like most of the schools in our conference. We're trying really hard here. I mean, the coaching staff, my graduate assistant, Caleb Clayton, I mean, we've been putting in very, very long hours just recruiting and trying to figure out behind the scenes, and making sure, our kids are on top of their academics, we made NCAA All-Academic American again for our men's team, obviously, women's team, not almost quite, now almost there, but our academics is tough. It really is. And I'm proud of these kids. I really am. And I'm proud of our administration. I'm proud of the higher ups. I'm proud of Melissa. I mean, that's so cool that she decided to do track with us this year, so, we're always going to grind it out. We always will. We always will.
University of Dallas head men's and women's track and field program head coach Nick Schneigert, along with leadership from junior Melissa Gambino Benitez. The Crusaders will open up the 2024 season when they head to the Hendricks Alumni Meet on March the 1st. Coach, Melissa, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless.